settle it down. He'll find Dobson. His shot and no goal. Second attempt, and my goodness, Mr. Andersen with the save on Dobson. Well, what a save.
Well, he's complaining about goaltender interference. They're not going to have to worry about that now. What a stop. Never gave up on the play after contact. Very close to being offside, by the way, too.
Wow. What a game for the Carolina Hurricanes to escape Game 1 with a 3-1 win over the New York Islanders. Welcome to the Canes Corner podcast. I am Adam Gold, and yeah, that's really what happened. Carolina got away with it. Didn't play their game. I'm not going to say Carolina played poorly, just didn't play their game, because I think there were a bunch of guys who played really well. And it's hard to have a bunch of guys play really well and call it a poor game. It just wasn't their game. We are brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do an amazing job. You should check them out for all your exterior home improvement needs. Let's be fair here today. The Carolina Hurricanes are ahead 1-0 in the best-of-7 quarterfinal series with the New York Islanders because they're the team that signs Frederik Andersen's paycheck. That's the reason why the Hurricanes won Game 1. They got really good performances. We're going to go down a bunch of them. But we are not sitting here 1-0 up in the series if Freddie Andersen is not the goaltender today. Not that other goalies can't make great saves. And I'm not trying to say that Freddie's the best goalie we've ever seen. But that was spectacular stuff. And here's the interesting thing about Freddie. I'm not sure Freddie was great to start. If you think about, I don't really blame him on the first goal. He just couldn't find it. It was below him, but he just couldn't find it. He had to deal with a deflection, and he had to make a couple of stops on deflections tonight. But at 1-1, there are 3 enormous saves that stand out at 1-1. The save on the 2-on-1, I believe it was Andersley across to Kyle Palmieri. And it's 1-1 in the game. The Islanders dominated the second period. If they score that goal, it's a well-deserved goal, and it's not your fault. Andersen came up big. He also made a big save on Bo Horvat in the first period when it was 1-1. But that stop on Palmieri. And then 5 minutes later, Sebastian Aho gives the puck away. Didn't give it away. I want to credit the Islanders. I forget exactly who stole it from him, but they hounded him with the puck. He lost it right in the dead slot to Matt Barzal, who has had his way with Carolina this year with 8 points in the 4 games, 2 goals and 6 assists. I mean, if you're the Islanders, that's got to be a goal. Except Andersen said no. But the best save was this one where he got Noah Dobson on the rebound.
Mary will settle it down. He'll find Dobson. His shot and no goal. Second attempt, and my goodness, Mr. Andersen with the save on Dobson. Well, what a save.
Well, he's complaining about goaltender interference. They're not going to have to worry about that now. What a stop. Never gave up on the play after contact. Very close to being offside, by the way, too.
Yeah, those probably don't work in Carolina's favor because they never seem to. But the first save, that's your best friend, right? The goalie's best friend. Simeon Varlamov got one, was the beneficiary of a post on Brady Skjei early in the second period. Carolina's only good moment of the second period, like maybe the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, Carolina played well. Skjei hit the inside of the left post from the left point. But the Dobson shot, he's down. He's already on his Henderson. Dobson hits the post, comes in, picks up the rebound. That's a goal. Except it wasn't. Andersen from his Henderson. I think I want t-shirts with that. Or coffee mugs. Or maybe a whoopee cushion. right? But right there, I mean, that's got to be a goal if you're the Islanders. That gives you the 2-1 lead early in the third period. Nope. Freddie Andersen, 33 saves. And I mean, I'm sure he's played better than that in the playoffs. I haven't seen it. And again, this is with the first period not being as good as Andersen would like. There was a play, actually, this was in the second period where the puck got through him. I don't think it was going to go in, but Brent Burns came in and swept it off the line. You know, from one angle, it looked like it was going to be a goal, but then from the angle behind the shot, you realize it was probably going wide. But Freddie, I don't know how he wasn't the first star in the building, honestly. I'm glad he wasn't, however, and I will explain why in a moment. But you got Freddie Andersen playing the way he's playing. And this is now 11 starts since he came back from the blood clotting issue. I haven't done the updated math. It can't be dramatically better than it was before this. 10-1 with a save percentage. I'll just guesstimate here. 952. Those sound like good numbers to me. I mean, I could be wrong, but those sound like good numbers to me. So we put Freddie in the column of, oh, yeah, we'll take more of that. Then we'll talk about the impact that Stefan Noesen had in the game. His net front presence on the Kuznetsov power play goal, minute and a half in roughly, where, I mean, the goal might have gone in anyway because it was such a ridiculous shot from a tough angle with about the size of a pretty good New York slice of pizza above the right shoulder, the blocker side shoulder of Varlamov. But he never saw it because Nate's net front, as he was kind of skating through the crease, just took his eyes away for a second. And the timing of that whole play, just an incredible goal to make it 1-0. And just kind of lift the lid. Because, you know, the further you go in a game without scoring a goal, I realize it was 90 seconds in, so nobody was frustrated yet. But we've seen plenty of games like that. In fact, in Game 6 on Long Island, Hurricanes trailed 1-0 for most of the game. I think the Islanders scored in the first period. Casey Cizic, if I'm not mistaken, on a breakaway on Andersen. And then the Hurricanes didn't tie it up until Sebastian Aho about midway through the third. So long, all of a sudden you start gripping the stick. Because I thought that some of Carolina's players played with the weight of expectation on them today. I thought specifically the top line was a little bit off. I thought Aho and Guentzel specifically were a little off today. And I think it's difficult. It's difficult to be the hunted all the time. And that's the position the Hurricanes are in. And the fact that they could win a game without their fastball, it's just tremendous. And really, they played the Islanders game. Let me just deviate from going down the list of players I want to talk about because I've seen it in the chat. Questioning that Carolina got away with it tonight. No, they did. It's not that they played poorly. I think we just need to separate playing poorly from not playing your game. And the Hurricanes didn't play their game tonight. Like, first of all, the Islanders were flat better than them in the second period. I thought the first and the third were relatively even. I thought the first period was even, but the third period was even. The second period was a trash heap. That Carolina was, well, thank you, Freddie, to get out of that period still 1-1. But I thought for the most part, the first period, while even, was played the way the Islanders wanted to play. And the third period, Carolina got the goal, but then ultimately still, for the most part, played the Islanders' way. So they'll have to be better in game 2 because if you're the Islanders, and you can look at it any way you want, if you're the Islanders, you got to be in the locker room going, we should have won that game. We were probably the better team, or at least we had the game the way we wanted it to be, and we just didn't win it. But again, probably an even game, but the Hurricanes won it because of the guy in net, the guy wearing the pads, Freddie Andersen. Back to Noesen, who hadn't scored in 20 games, March 7th against Montreal, which, frankly, was Andersen's return to the rink. How about that? So he gets the goal that makes it 2-1. Again, the net front presence on the power play goal was tremendous. Brady Skjei, I think all of Carolina's defensemen, seriously, all of their defensemen played really well tonight. I thought Chatfield's speed was evident. Jacob Slavin on one of the Islanders' I think it was 2 power plays. Yeah, I think one of the Islanders' 2 power plays with about 30 seconds to go. Slavin picked up the puck. Carolina had a hard time getting to pucks tonight. The Islanders played with a little extra level of desperation, and I think Rob was talking about them being used to this at this point. Slavin gets the puck, and then just kind of, you've played the video game Frogger. He's going across the street. He just froggered his way out of the defensive zone. Like, how did he do that so easily? He just is a skating Jesse, as my friend Steve Logan likes to say. But I think all of Carolina's defensemen played really well. They did something exceptionally. Pesce and Skjei, I thought, were great as a tandem. Let me get to Brett Pesce digging the puck out of the corner and getting it up the wall to Necas for the empty net goal. 2 things, or the 3 particulars in that goal. Jack Drury had just taken a puck off the face. That was twice, because Seth Jarvis took a deflected shot just under the visor, and he didn't miss a shift. He came right back. Actually, I don't think he left the bench. Seth Jarvis is not of this earth. I thought he played a good game too. But Drury was a clearing attempt from the zone, so it wasn't a shot. It was just flipped up, caught him right in the nose, so he's bleeding. They take him down the tunnel. They shove a bunch of cotton in his face, and he comes right back to the bench because, I mean, no matter how handsome you are, if you're a hockey player, you come right back to the bench. Nobody's more handsome than Justin Williams, and he deflected. He scored a goal with his face on a Brett Pesce slap shot back however many years ago. It was the first year the Hurricanes made the playoffs in Florida. Pesce slap shot hit Justin Williams right in the face. He breaks his jaw. Puck goes in the net. It's a goal. Still counts. They don't take points off because you might have eaten the puck. But Drury comes right back on the ice. It's an icing. He's on he's taking the face off. He's got cotton swabs sticking out of his face. He wins the draw to the wall. It comes back into the corner. Pesce's got it. He digs it out, gets it up the wall. My initial remembrance of the play was that Necas was at center ice. No, it's a much better play than that. Necas was actually inside his own end. So he fights off Dobson, gets the puck behind him, and then he goes and pursues it. And I think Brock Nelson was coming over too. And Necas was just strong. He put in a lot of work in the offseason. If you've got a chance to see Marty, I mean, he's got some upper body strength to him. We know he can skate, but this was a good competitive empty net goal for Necas to really put the game away. So 3 big plays on an empty net goal. People like to mock empty net goals. Well, it was just an empty net goal. Well, that was a hard-earned empty netter. So good for Necas, who's on the scoreboard now. Good for Drury, winning a draw, played very well. And good for Brett Pesce, another contribution from the blue line. The Hurricanes got 2 Brady Skjei assists and 1 from Brett Pesce tonight as well. Andrei Svechnikov, dude, play that way. What you did tonight, I thought the penalty was one of those unfortunate ones. It happened. It's a penalty. It's an offensive zone penalty. You don't like it. But it didn't feel like it was one of Andrei's typical, what are you doing kind of penalties. I mean, 2 guys going at it when Andrei, got him, he got him high. Okay. But the way Andrei played tonight, do that. Do that, and you'll play 25 games in April, May, and June. Because we've talked about it. Andrei, as well as Teuvo Teravainen, and Necas to an extent. To me, that's the key. You get this Svechnikov who played tonight. He's going to score plenty of goals, create plenty of opportunities. He's going to drive other teams nuts. Give me that. Andre was great. Evgeny Kuznetsov. Talk about Stefan Noesen, who had gone the last 20 games of the regular season without a goal. Kuznetsov had gone 14 games to end the regular season without a goal since his last one. He gets the goal. He gets the assist on the Noesen goal. And while he didn't play a ton, I thought he was impactful every time he was on the ice. I like that. And I did mention it briefly, but I thought Seth Jarvis was probably the best part of the top line. And I found it interesting. We knew Rod was going to do something because Carolina's second period was so. And the third period, he just flipped Jarvis and Svechnikov. Maybe Seth wasn't playing well with Sebastian Aho and Jake Guentzel because Svech with Staal and Martinook, those guys dominated the puck. And then when Svech went with Aho and Guentzel, those guys had their best moments of the game. So maybe this is an Andrei Svechnikov event, as well as a Freddie Andersen, but there's a lot of really good performances to go around. All right, now I wanted you to hear this because while there's no question who the best player in the game was, no question at all, it was Andersen. Kuznetsov was given the first star in the building. So this is the way it works, especially in the first round when you've got local TV as well as national TV. And I don't know how many people watch the national game because John Forsen was doing. I don't know. I was monitoring Mike and Tripp for the game. And Kuznetsov gets the bench interview. And I'm going to play it. It's not very long. I'm going to play it in its entirety because I think you hear, well, I'll play it, and then we'll talk about what Kuznetsov had to say.
Yeah, it was a tough game, and I think the first two periods went their way, to be honest with you, and I'm glad that we got the win, and that's not how we want to play, and we got to make sure we fix that for the next game.
34 saves by your netminder here tonight. How would you describe the impact he made?
That's why they get paid.
And when you think about the tone that this set for the rest of the series, how would you describe it?
We gotta be better. That was unacceptable for us. And be honest, I'm not a fan of the celebrating this stuff like after one win or whatever. I gotta make sure that we keep it emotions pretty even because it's gonna be long series and it's gonna be a lot of tough moments. So we gotta make sure we control the emotions and energy.
Thank you, Evgeny.
I mean, they brought in Guentzel and Kuznetsov because they're great players. But Gentzel's got a cup, and he was a great player. Kuznetsov could have easily been the Conn Smythe winner when Washington won the cup in 18. And we know the talent level. But Kuznetsov is, in general, a fun, happy-go-lucky guy. Carolina just won a game. He was named the playoff game. He was named the first star, and he's sitting on the bench, and he's stewing because he knows that the Hurricanes didn't play their game. He knows it. And he felt like he needed to say it. We've got to be better. To be honest, I don't feel right. I'm paraphrasing now because it's not a direct quote. I don't feel right celebrating this. We have to control our emotions. Here's the one thing I do know about. I think I know a couple of things about this team. But one thing I absolutely know about this team is that in that locker room, they are well aware that this was not the game they want to play. In fact, I'll say it. They play like this on excuse me. They play like this on Monday. They're probably 1-1 in the series. If you're the Islanders, you got to be happy with the way you play. You just can't be happy that you didn't get anything out of that second period. So that's the thing that jumps out to me about the game. And I said it, and put yourself in the Islanders' perspective, okay? And the Hurricanes, we've been here, right? As Hurricanes fans, we have been here in this position, individual games. You play like that in the second period. Islanders outshot Carolina, I believe it was 12-4 in the period. Might have been 13-4. I think it was 13-4. And you get nothing out of it. And you're thinking, how did we not at least get one? How did the Palmieri chance not go? How did the Islanders' best offensive player, 80 points, Matt Barzal, all in front of the net, below the hash marks. He and Andersen, that's it. Freddie stops it. I'm not even sure it was an amazing save. I have to look at it again. But Freddie didn't budge. You know, he waited him out. And there's something to be said for that, too. Those two, the save on Dobson, which is still one of the absolutely incredible saves. I'm not putting it in Kevin Weeks, John Madden territory. That's the greatest save I have ever seen a goaltender make. Kevin Weeks, tip of the cap. Still, 22 years later. Holy mackerel. I still can't believe I saw that. John Madden still can't believe he saw that. Cam Ward on Fernando Pisani. That Freddie Andersen save, and who knows if it would have been goaltender interference. I've talked to Rod about these things. He is absolutely gun shy when it comes to challenging that because we never win them. But by the way, this does eliminate the conversation we've had before about are they going to alternate? And I've said this I don't know how many times. Just because they alternated during the regular season doesn't mean they're even thinking about alternating in the postseason. I'm not saying Kochetkov won't play, but because there are no back-to-backs, and in some cases, there are 2 days between games, and there are 2 instances of that in this series. Saturday, Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday. So before the first two travel situations, between games 2 and 3, extra day off. Between games 4 and 5, extra day off. I think Anderson's going to play all of them, unless Anderson's hurt. And in which case, we're going to need Antti Raanta to come back. By the way, Raanta should be here. They said that they were going to recall Antti Raanta. And I've said this before. He is such an amazing human being. I cannot wait for him to get here. And he's going to be embraced by his teammates. He'll get some practice time. But look, he didn't have a good year. He didn't have a good start. But there were plenty of games where Antti Raanta bailed him out just because he was able to play, and the Hurricanes didn't have a lot of other options. So, but man, Andersen was good, and Andersen's going to keep playing. And if you go back and you look at Rod Brindamore's history, there have been 0 examples in his now 6 years. So if you look at the other 5 playoffs, he's chosen a goaltender. In year 1, it was Peter Mrazek until Mrazek got hurt, and then it was Curtis McElhinney. In year 2, it was Mrazek. They gave Reimer a start in the bubble. I think he might have played game 3 against the Rangers when they were up 2-1. Or whatever it was. It might have been game 2. What is that? I don't even remember anymore. But then he went back to Mrazek. In the crazy pandemic central, it was Nedeljkovic in the entire Nashville series. Mrazek didn't show up until, I think, game 3 in Tampa when Carolina won. And then he played a great first period in game 4. Looked like the Hurricanes might actually even that series. And then he got his doors blown off. But it was in Alex Nedeljkovic. It was his net. The following year was the first of 3 consecutive division titles. Andersen would have been the guy, but he was hurt. Antti Raanta. Am I doing this correctly? I think I am. Antti Raanta unless he was hurt, which happened. and Kochetkov spelled him. And then last year, it was Raanta who played the first 5 games of the Islanders series until Freddie took over. So there's no alternating. They were never going to alternate. So, I mean, regular season is one thing, and Rod even managed his goaltenders in the last 20 games to get here. He didn't want Freddie playing consecutive games. There were plenty of opportunities to go right back to Andersen, and Rod never did. Never did. They had the plan. It was all about getting Freddie to game 1 of the playoffs fully healthy. And I think you see how that plays out. One more thing I want to get to. I was a little bit surprised that Jesperi Kotkaniemi started in between Teuvo Teravainen and Martin Necas. I thought that line was exposed a little bit in the first period. It was the line responsible for the first goal. I know there are some who thought it was a Brent Burns mistake. I don't think it was. Brent was not like the puck didn't get out of the zone, but I don't think that was Brent. I mean, do you want him to ice the puck? You don't really want to ice the puck if you don't have to. I think he was trying to get it to Necas, and Necas just didn't handle the pass. It went through him, kept in. Good play by Romanov by the Islanders. And then he flips it at the net. There's a deflection, and Kyle McLean is there to sweep it in. I mean, that's a good play by the Islanders. I really don't think it was anybody's fault. But Kotkaniemi lost a couple of faceoffs in the first period that created problems. And I thought that line was the only line of Carolina's that was routinely getting beaten. And I thought a very noticeable line that was McLean and Engvall and I think Anders Lee. I think that trio was causing a problem for Carolina. I was a little surprised that Kotkaniemi was there, but I think more than anything, it was to protect Kuznetsov and Noesen, who are not elite defenders, and that's why Rod wanted Drury there. If you put Kotkaniemi there, then that line could become a liability defensively. But I'm not sure, based on what I saw today, I'm not sure that he won't go back to Drury in between Teravainen and Necas. And I also won't rule out this. It was a very small sample size, but I thought Teravainen with Kuznetsov and Necas actually looked pretty good. So, but they only played together for a handful of games, like 3 games maybe, before Rod flipped everything around again. So, based on the way Kuznetsov played today, I wouldn't be completely shocked if Monday Kuznetsov was up with Necas and Teravainen. That line has to be more offensively impactful. Now, Kotkaniemi, Necas, and Teravainen were the first big shift of the third period, which led to the goal. They had a big, heavy shift, and then the Kuznetsov line came in with Drury and Noesen. They had a good shift. At the end of that shift, they scored. But you're going to have to be able to take advantage of your depth against an Islanders team that is really good top to bottom, but they're not so dangerous where they really should score. That's Carolina's big advantage. You have Kuznetsov skating on a 4th line right now. Get out of here. So, all in all, we can chalk up game 1 of the series to number 31, Frederik Andersen, best player in the game. There were a lot of guys who could have been stars. If I was doing one of my indie band stars, Andre would have easily been one. He could have been one anyway. He was that good. I thought on the low, I thought Jordan Staal played a really good game, and so did Jordan Martinook. But there are so many guys who made plays, even in a game where Carolina did not play their best. So many guys who made plays. We are brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. Shouts to all of you in California. Shouts to you in Australia down under. If you are in Ireland or Virginia Beach or Alaska or Hawaii, checking out the Canes Corner podcast live on YouTube, I thank you very much for doing it. Please subscribe, like, caress, cajole, whisper sweet nothings too, whatever buttons need to be pushed. We're all good at pushing buttons, aren't we? And if you want to give it a rating, that's fine. It is entirely up to you. But I just appreciate you all listening and hanging out because you know what's fun? Fun winning hockey games, and even more fun when you don't play your best doing it. 1-0. Hurricanes lead the Eastern Conference quarterfinal series. We'll be here Monday after the Canes and the Islanders in Game 2. 7:30 start, so probably close to 11 o'clock for us, give or take. And until then, I thank you very much, and we will see you on Monday on the Canes Corner podcast, hopefully with a